5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
You're listening to the GHT Overland podcast. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on the GHT Overland podcast. We missed you too.
If you didn't notice, we had a little bit of a hiccup last week as you enjoyed an extra week with Corey and Bree of Euler Go South. Apologies for that. With a wild rodeo, I think is the best way to put that, of a week last week, and some challenges with my mom's health, family came first. And releasing this episode last week just didn't happen.
But here we are, and here you are. So kick up your flip-flops and get settled in for a great episode with Michel and Renee from Amsterdam. We hope you enjoy it.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on the GHT Overland podcast. This is where you get the greatest interviews and insights from overland travelers around the globe, learning from their stories and experiences as we interview overlanders from places like Australia, Africa, the Americas, Portugal, and today, Georgia, the country Georgia for all of you in the U.S. if you're a little confused. You will learn the basics to the advanced in overlanding, so buckle up and get ready for a new adventure. I'm Chris.
And I'm Lisa. Today's featured guests are Michel and Renee of Overlanding the World. Originally from Amsterdam, Michel and Renee sold their house in Amsterdam and decided on a 2-year overland trip. We're excited to hear about their transitions from being a key accounts manager and a lawyer to overland travelers over the last roughly year and a half.
So, without further ado, Michel and Renee, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
It's awesome. We really appreciate you guys taking the time today to connect with us. So if you would, fill us in on any blanks that we may have left out in your intro and tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, like you said, we formerly lived in Amsterdam and we're just like living the normal life. And we almost bought a house, but in the end, the sale was canceled. And then we decided, well, let's go on a trip.
And spend all our money.
Yeah. So it was, rather quickly after the sale was canceled. I think 1 month later, we were in the car. So,
That's great.
Yeah.
So describe to us, if you would, where you're at today, like your location, surroundings. If you were to step outside in Georgia right now, what would we see?
Yeah, today we're quite comfortable. We rented an Airbnb and we stay in Batumi. So it's near the Black Coast. And that's where we are now.
Yeah, just relaxing on the beach. Well, not right now. Now we're in the apartment. But we were not feeling really well the last few days. So we decided to rent an apartment and just kick back a bit.
That's awesome. And if I've got it right, it's always fascinating, at least to me, the time difference. So it's, what is it, just after 6 o'clock in the morning for us. And for you guys, if I remember right, is it like 5 o'clock at night?
Yeah. 5 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wowza.
They've already gotten through today. We're just getting started.
Oh boy. What inspired overland travel for you?
I think in 2016, a friend of us invited us on a trip to in South Africa. So we rented a car there for the first time. And we instantly fell in love with the way of traveling, like with a car. And then the next year, just the two of us traveled to Colombia. And we also rented a car there. And we just, it was just perfect for us. So we decided we want to go for a longer period of time, and we just love the freedom and just go wherever you want and stop wherever you want. So that's actually how it all started.
That's really cool. So when you decided on this trip, you sold your house in Amsterdam and you decided on this 2-year trip. Did you spend a lot of time planning the trip originally? And would you recommend spending either more or less time to our listeners in planning a trip?
Well, for the record, we didn't sold our house. We were in the process of buying one. And in the end, we failed to buy one. So then we decided, leave and spend all our money we saved up for buying the house. So that's a bit different.
Okay.
When we decided to leave, we did not do that much planning, actually. We wanted to go east. That's what we decided on. And we decided which countries. And the only thing planning was more or less the weather. Where is the good weather? Let's follow the sun. And then we decided, okay, we can spend 5 months in Europe, and then we spend 1 month in Turkey, and then we go to Iran, and then just follow the sun. And I think in months, I think we actually planned a couple of months, maybe 3-4 months of like mapping and thinking about it.
Yeah.
Got it. And are you glad that you spent that amount of time? Would you do it any different today?
No, not for us. But the thing is, we travel kind of slow, and we don't have we have money wise, we have a limit of time. But I can imagine if you're traveling and you only have like 8 months or 12 months, then I think it's better to plan a bit ahead, because otherwise you get stuck somewhere and it will cost you a lot of time from your trip. But for us, we just go day by day, and let's see where we go and where we end up.
Okay. Super cool. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your current vehicle and any name that you may have given it?
Well, we don't name it yet, so maybe it's time to do that after 16 months. But it's a Toyota Land Cruiser 75 series, and with a rooftop tent. And it's just like built for an expedition like this. We didn't build it ourselves. The former owner, he drove from Belgium to South Africa and did a lot of overlanding trips in North Africa. So it was quite fixed already. And the only thing we put up was a bull bar, because we were planning to go to India. And there you need a bull bar for sure. And the winch. So it's a pretty decent overlanding vehicle.
So it's pretty nice. All the kinks were probably already worked out in the vehicle. I'm guessing, right? Yeah.
It was already like an expedition vehicle. So the main thing was already done, and we could like fine tune it what we need and what we like.
Okay. And so if you were to do this trip all over again, would you use the same vehicle? Is there anything different that you would do vehicle wise?
No, if I would do the same trip as we are doing now, then I would definitely go for a Toyota. And I would definitely
it's such a strong car.
We love the car. In 16 months, it never let us down. It's just an amazing car.
That's great.
What is that one thing you value the most, either on or in your vehicle?
Well, we really like the solar panels, because we can just go off the grid for, if the sun is shiny ever, it's we never run out of electricity. When it's not that sunny, we have a couple days, maybe 4 or 5 days. But I think the places we go and the sun we follow, that's the most important feature of the car.
What solar panels are you using?
I'm not completely sure, but we have 2 on the rooftop tent, and they are, I guess, 85 watts, but I'm not completely sure.
Okay.
And Renee, is there anything else different that you value?
No, I think, like Michel said, it's definitely the solar panels, and for us also the bull bar. If you're like in big cities or very crowded places, it just really helps.
Makes you a bit more confident, because in a lot of places we traveled, and especially India, Pakistan and Iran,
it's crazy traffic.
Traffic is just crazy, and not I mean, in Turkey, for example, the traffic is crazy, but they are not like dangerously crazy. And in India, for example, we felt a bit afraid sometimes, and then the bull bar makes you a bit more secure and a bit more safe.
Yeah.
Got it. So has anything
Bit the bull bar?
Yes, thank you, Lisa.
Hit the bull bar. Well, that's kind of funny story. We had one accident in the last 16 months, and that was when I crashed into another Dutch guy in India. He was driving his car there as well, so that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But nothing serious, just some small damages which we were able to fix. Not for us because we have a bull bar, but
Right.
We had nothing.
for the other guy.
Anything you originally packed that you never used or removed from your overall setup?
Yes, definitely the barbecue grill, because we bought one in Africa. We had one which you can just put on the spare wheel on the outside of the car. But this time, I think we used it maybe once in like 1.5 years. So yeah, it doesn't cost a lot of space, but I would definitely not take it again.
That's super interesting. Okay. What are your current top 2 or 3 destinations that you've been in? Maybe a little detail on what made them so special for you.
I think for us, definitely.
It's a hard question.
Yeah, it's a difficult question. But if we have to pick one, I think definitely Central Asia as a whole, because it's just camp heaven and it's just, it's 4x4 heaven. But if we have to pick one country in Central Asia, I think it would be Tajikistan, because it's very rough and remote, and it's off-road heaven. It has everything. It has mountains, valleys, lakes, and the people are amazing. And there are not that many tourists compared to the rest of the countries in Central Asia. So I think that's definitely one of our most favorite countries. And maybe as a second one,
Northern Pakistan was
definitely
amazing, especially because for us it was quite special because we were not sure if we wanted to go there in terms of security and safety, especially when the period we went there were a lot of struggles going on with the Dutch government and the Pakistani, and we didn't know if we wanted to go there, and at the last minute we decided, well, let's go there, and it was so amazing. The people were so friendly, the food was amazing, and the mountains. It's the Karakoram Highway, driving there, it's unbelievable. I cannot stress people enough to go there. It's beautiful. That for me was number 2 or maybe number 1, but I think I agree with Renee that Tajikistan is the most amazing country. And the third, we really love Georgia. But we also love Iran, and we really love Albania in Eastern Southern Europe. But I think I would go for Georgia, and that's mainly driven by the amazing food.
And it's pretty easy accessible, Georgia, compared to some other countries. So it's very easy to travel. And sometimes if you travel for quite some time, it's also nice to have a break, and that that is more easy.
Just do some relaxing. For example, we love Iran. We are totally in love with the people, the culture, the food. It's the second time we've been there, and a third time that we've been there. But it's quite hard sometimes. It costs you a lot of energy, and it's especially the parts which are not well known and kind of risky. You always be prepared, and there are always a lot of people, and they are all really friendly, but it can be a bit too much sometimes. And then, for example, a country as Georgia it's just really relaxing.
That's cool. So if we could go back just a little bit, based on some of the places you've been, like Pakistan and Iran, what would be your insights or your recommendations when you go there and you go visit to make sure that safety, security is absolutely number 1 and you don't get in a jam of some sort?
I think definitely do your research, because although like Iran, it's one of our most favorite countries, the people are so friendly, it's still Iran. It's still a country with a bit of troubles. So do your research, like what is allowed, what is not allowed, and adapt to the local customs, and just always keep that in mind, that you're not for us in the Netherlands or in the US that you're in a different country. And I think it's very, very important to always keep that in mind.
But we agree it's tough, because if you just follow the Western media, then you definitely are not going to countries like Pakistan or Iran. But what else can you follow to make a good, solid decision? So we try to follow some local media, some local papers, and mainly talk to other travelers on areas which they like, which they don't like. We talk to locals. Can we go there? Would you recommend that we go, or would you recommend not to go there? And we mainly base our decisions day by day on local experience and other travelers.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd love to know more about your cooking setup and anything you'd change about it.
I think we have very, very basic cooking setup. We just have 2 gas bottles and a camping gas stove. So it's very basic. I think one of the reasons, like in the beginning in Europe, we were cooking all the time. But once we left Europe and entered Asia, we started eating outside a lot, because most of the time it's cheaper than go to the supermarket. And for us, we're quite foodies, and we think eating the local food is a perfect way to get to know a country and meet the local people. So we have to admit that for the last year, we haven't cooked that much. We do it sometimes, especially if we're, of course, camping for a while in the nature. But if we're a bit more in the urban areas, we also eat a lot of outside. Yeah.
So any favorites on places that you've been able to go eat? Is it Georgia or somewhere else?
Which is good place where we had dinner, where we like Georgia, of course, but Iran is amazing.
India
is
unbelievable.
So nice. But I think even like for Central Asia, people warned us, you have to get a lot of food, and because the food there is very basic and it's not very tasty. But if you do your research, every country has like amazing local dishes. Sometimes it just takes a lot of research or just talk to local people. But I think in every place we had wonderful food. Yeah. Especially the home-cooked food are the best, of course. But yeah.
If you were to cook, what's a favorite meal or recipe you enjoy while traveling?
Something with pasta, like spaghetti, or we made a lot of tuna spaghetti.
The cans,
with the cans, because it's quite easy. Everyone in the world they eat canned tuna, so we could buy that quite easy, and just pimp it up with some local ingredients. Like we had a lot of nice olives in Greece and in Turkey. Now in Georgia, it's fig season, so you can buy a lot of figs really cheap.
Yeah.
So we try to make a dish around it, buy some local Georgian cheese, some dressing, some figs. Yeah, amazing.
How do you generally do your laundry on the road?
I think it depends on where we are, but if we're like camping in nature again, we do the laundry mostly in the river or find a spot with some water. But if we're in a hostel or an Airbnb, then we of course try to do our laundry over there. So it depends on where we are.
On the hygiene note, do you have a shower and toilet set up, or what's your recommendation for keeping it simple and hygienic on the road?
We don't have a toilet. We have an outside shower. We have a 100-liter water tank in the car. So we mainly use that for washing dishes, washing hands, and the outside shower. But the shower you can only use when you're like tucked away in nature. It's not like you're in the middle of Iran or Tehran and you think, well, let's take a shower outside. That's quite a problem. So then it's basically waiting for the next hostel, or we use a lot of wet wipes.
Yeah.
We live on those. So that's when you can take the outside shower. But normally if we do a lot of camping, we camp like a week or 2 weeks, and then we go to a hostel and just do some laundry and cleaning the car, and then we set up to go. And once again, if you're in nature, you can do it in the river, in the waterfall, the outside shower.
Yeah.
But it's only a bit more troubled when you're in the city. And mainly when we travel in cities, we don't sleep in the tent. We don't like that. So then we book a hostel or small apartment or something like that.
Now, we covered it on your vehicle a little bit, and you said that you wouldn't change anything, but for the overall setup, if you were back home and setting up the same vehicle again, is there anything that you've learned in the last year and a half or so that you would change about how you've got your vehicle set up?
Well, I think we would go for a better water filter, because we had a pretty decent water filter, but it broke during the winter because it was frozen and there was still water in it. So we replaced it with a really basic one. And yeah, while on the road you drink a lot of water, and now we're like, how do you say? We need to buy plastic bottles, and that's, well, pretty horrible for the nature. So if I would go again, I would definitely buy a really good water filter.
Yeah, invest in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about the number one biggest challenge you've had to overcome on the road.
The biggest challenge, I think, for us it would be Balochistan. That's a part of Pakistan, and like Michel told, we weren't sure in the first if we would go there, but we decided to go for it anyway. And we knew there are definitely some security issues, but we decided to go. And yeah, it was okay, but it was tough. Yeah, I have to admit it was quite tough. Yeah, after 5 days, we're pretty exhausted. Yeah,
it's the southwest, more the west of Pakistan. It's the border with Iran, and it's an area which in the past was a Taliban area, and the Pakistani military they got it back, and it's more or less safe now, they claim, but not safe enough for Western tourists to travel independently there. So you travel with military escort all day, and they will escort you out of the troubled area, so the Balochistan area. So they will take you more or less 5 or 6 days, and you have like constant military escort around you during the day, during the night. There are like a lot of people with guns around you, and well, that's quite exhausting and quite tough. We didn't think that it would have such an impact on us.
Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest challenges for me, and especially to see that it's still necessary to guard foreign tourists there as much as they did.
Yeah.
Were there a lot of tourists going through, or do you think there still are?
Not that much. It's getting much more. It's like there are going tourists crossing that border, I think, every day. So,
but like we were with only 3.
Yeah, we were only with 3.
Okay.
In the 5 days we crossed to that area, we only saw the 2 other tourists in our group, which we formed at the border.
Yeah.
But that being said, the people we met in that part of the world, they are still unbelievably friendly and amazing. And
Pakistan is doing everything to show the tourists that it's a beautiful country, because all this escort is free of charge. It's just all paid by the Pakistani government. Yeah. And for us, it was very good to see that it's only a very small part of Pakistan that has this
escort rule.
Yeah, escort rule, because the rest of Pakistan is very safe and beautiful. But this part was quite challenging. Yeah, definitely.
But that made it for us confusing as well, because you have like all the military around you with the big guns guarding you. You cannot walk off like 5 meters and they will stop you because they are afraid something will happen to you. But on the other hand, you only meet the nicest people in the world, the most friendly people, the most loving people. So it was quite confusing to see on the other hand the escort, the guards, and on the other hand there were no bad people or unfriendly people, only like really nice people.
Yeah, I think it's very important to make the distinction between politics and just the normal people, and that was for us a real eye-opener when we traveled there. Yeah.
Knowing what the number one question is going to be based on recent events with Jolie and Mark of the Way Overland, the number one question to that is definitely going to be, why take the risk? So what would be your response to that, to people that are like, are you nuts? Why would you go into a situation like that?
For me, it's just meeting the people who live there, and those, in a lot of countries we traveled, the people who are living there are not the people who are running the country. Then that's for us like, the motivation to do things like this, because you can imagine my mother was not that happy when I told her I'm going to Iran or Pakistan. She asked the same question: why would you go there? Why take the risk? But for us, it's like seeing the world and meeting the people and see it's different than how you see it in the media or on the news or whatever. But still we are aware of the risk we are taking.
Yeah. And like I said, we don't travel for the politics, we travel for the people. So that's what drives us. And of course, that's why I said it's very important to always do your research. What are the local customs and the laws and the regulations in the country? Because they're of course troubled and risky areas. So you have to always keep that in mind. But and we always have the rule: if one of us doesn't feel comfortable, we don't go there. But luckily, in all the months we're traveling now, it hasn't come that far.
Yeah. But we were quite shocked about the news of Mark and Jolie, because that could have been any other overlanding traveler of us, because we all traveled there. We all do the same things. We meet the same people, and we were quite shocked.
Respect. The people are the reason. Be smart, do your research, be respectful of local customs and rules.
But it's the people,
not the politics.
Always do what feels right to you.
Always know what the risks are and understand the current political climate before making your decision on where to travel, overlanding or otherwise. So, good solar panels are important. Sounds like they've got theirs dialed in pretty good.
Well, and a good bull bar. You never know when you're going to run into a random Dutch guy in India.
True, or anywhere, really, for that matter. Lots of great info and stories from the road. Next week, we jump into border crossings in fairly great detail.
Dive into finances, and as always, a lot more. Remember, it's a good idea to visit the show notes page on our website at ghtoverland.com/podcasts. Select the Overlanding the World episode. All the details and helpful links are already there for you.
As a very quick update, we did hear back from Jolie and Mark about the only thing to share, and really the only thing that matters is, in their words,
"Thank you for the support. Worry not, we are okay now."
Could not be happier for them.
Welcome home.
A big thank you to our Patreon supporters. Your support of the podcast truly does mean the world to us. If you'd like to help support the show and get a possible t-shirt, coffee mug that doubles as a nice GNT mug at night, take a look at the options while you're there. If you'd like, you can send your questions, suggestions, and feedback to ghtoverlandpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love it if you'd connect with us on social media at ghtoverland. Be sure to share this episode with your friends who enjoy travel and adventure. Overlanding travel is all about meeting new friends, seeing the most amazing places on earth, and of course, new food and new drinks.
We'd greatly appreciate your time of a quick rate and review of the GHT Overland podcast. It actually does make a ginormous difference for us to show up on all the podcast platforms. GHT is showing gratitude, being humble, and having the tenacity to tackle your dreams. Thank you, and we will see you next Thursday for part 2 of the GHT Overland podcast with Michel and Renee of Overlanding the World.
And as a side note, to find them on the socials, it's overlanding_the_world.